Hello, friends. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to another episode, and today we are going to discuss about the AI and how it is going to eliminate some of the entry level knowledge work. So, in this session, we will look at some of the prediction by great experts. For example, Goldman Sachs says that AI is going to replace 300 million jobs by 2030. Even McKinsey also says AI will replace like some of the white collar job by so it is not only going to help the developer and coder, it is also going to take other sectors like law, consulting, etc. So by the end of 2025, businesses are aggressively using AI in their workflow, and we see major IT companies are doing some sort of bulk layoff, and it is really confusing what is the career path for the next 10 years. If you are already a professional, you are looking for a job, then how to give some sort of safeguard to your career path. To understand this matter, let us try to understand how AI is going to help humans, especially the modern society. And we have seen many examples of using AI in our day-to-day activities. A good example is self-driving car or a robot, humanoid robot that can do specific tasks. It can understand your instruction. And we also seen the great use of AI model, large language model, that can answer your any information related question. It can gives you suggestion, find out patterns, and it can do some sort of prediction. So these are manifestation of AI. Actually, they are real life problem solving examples that has a huge use in mass around us in the workplace. In using your phone, you can ask question. So we are taking advice from AI for any problem, maybe health related issues, financial issues, investment issue. Many things are now depending on AI. Let us try to understand how actually AI works, and self-driven car is a good example. For example, a self-driven or autonomous vehicle is a machine that can take decision, and it can navigate from one place to another place. So during this process, it maintains the safety, efficiency, and a computer program is running behind this, and basically it is constantly taking information from the camera, understanding what is the object in front of it. So it takes a decision just like a human driver. So AI system, how it is how actually it works. So AI system is constantly making decision based on various data. It is coming from the sensors. So these sensors are in IDR cameras, radars, etc. So basically it is processing all those information, and when it is a red light, it is stopping. When it is green light, it understands the traffic signals, and sometimes it also makes some error. So there is a chance of reducing accident because it is taking the decision based on the data. The practical use of self-driven car is very limited, and it is not yet fully functional in all sort of cities. And definitely it is giving the opportunity to depend on AI and replacing the work of a human driver. So same thing is happening in other job role as well, like whether it is a software testing, whether preparing some proposal for a creative work, or managing a project. Everywhere AI based models are helping people, and speeding up the process. So dear friend, the terms artificial intelligence is a few terms that has a lot of things inside this one umbrella. So basically, what is intelligence that we need to understand first, and how artificial intelligence is helping us in solving our problem. So the biggest question is how our human brain works. That is the starting point of understanding artificial intelligence. Generally, we have different neuron to do specific tasks biologically. So if we want to do some tasks that require moving, some tasks require some reasoning, some kind of tasks required understanding the visuals, etc. So if you want to understand artificial intelligence, let us to understand something from the very basic, from your school days science. So artificial is a word that signify that these intelligence are coming from some and basically we want to define artificial intelligence like a new buzzword. We feel like we have to know how to use different kind of tools and how to develop something that is like a robot or a car, and developing a program that can take decision, something like that. So dear friend, AI was not actually discovered by one single scientist or one single mathematician. This concept is developed by in last 40-45 years after long research. So if I want to explain it in oversimplify, I just want to oversimplify how exactly AI was developed and it is now frequently used by so many sectors. Then first of all, we need to understand some of the human behavior that we generally developed, how exactly we learn. We face different kind of situations. Let us take an example how a little baby learned that if there is something like fire, he is not going to touch it because it is producing some heat, and it little bit of experience that he understand. Maybe his parent is telling don't touch this kind of fire because it is kind of harm you, something like this. So human take information from its environment, and human brain has an adaptive quality to learn something from the experience, and that is how we survive under any circumstances, any situation. So machine can also learn from the data. Let us assume that you are creating one particular computer program. It is like a robot. It can play chess with another chess player who is a human. Now human being take decisions, some predictive logic, use some decision, okay, moving this particular from one place to another place for some reason. So similarly, AI model or program can also take decision, and those decisions are based on its learning, like as already has different kind of data relevant to a game, and based on those data it is taking a decision just like human reasoning. So under the umbrella of AI is some portion which is working with some sort of logic. There is some part which is working with some sort of and also it is capable to search information for solving a problem. So when you are asking a specific question, basically AI is going to search the internet and find out a relevant information, and using some reasoning it is preparing an answer, and that answer is going to work like a solution or a problem. It depends on different literature, different information sources. So basically, it prepare answer that is helpful for solving a problem. And this process is so fast that within a fraction of a second we got the answers. If we look at the history of AI, then it was started like to 1931 when someone, a statistician from Australia, he was that it is possible to train a machine with some logic, then it can some problem. So then in 1937, Alan Turing, who is like use this technique for building an intelligent machine that is going to decode the encrypted message was sent by German during the World War II. So he was a great mathematician, and then Alan Turing defined some machine intelligence that is known as the Turing test, and this about to train a machine with some algorithm, and it can take decision based on its experience or the data it already processed. So then John, he is a statistician basically, and he first time used this word artificial in 1955 or 56 that time. So if you look at this history, the artificial intelligence was there for a long time, but it got most popularity when we see a large language model like ChatGPT in 2022, and it tremendously got a lot of users, and it was supposed to, like, it was so popular that people were more relying on ChatGPT compared to Google. And earlier Google was the main source of information for any kind of requirement. And McCarthy was a professor in MIT, and he was working for a long time for this theory and developed many research paper. He also developed an AI lab in Stanford University in 1963, and it was like huge of statistics, various type of algorithms, and actually the theory was there, but the use of this theory was not so popular because people did not feel the importance of this technology at that time, like in the 80s. In 81 actually, Japan began some serious experiment on our intelligence, and they built a very powerful computer which was known as the Prologue machine, and that was capable to solve some logical problem, and was the beginning of AI. No doubt, Google was already using AI in their search engine behind the backdrop, like behind the curtain. So basically, when we were asking something to Google for a search result, some part of this work was done by AI that time, but explicitly, the AI was not in the front that before 2022, and very few experts and computer experts and professors, they were still working on this. So IBM first time in 19 developed a very advanced level computer which is known as the Deep Blue, and it was capable to defeat the champion of chess, Gary, in 1997. After that news, when Gary Kasparov lost his game in front of the IBM chess computer Deep Blue, it was the breaking news, and everybody think about how machine is more capable than the most genius human being who is a champion in the chess world, and machine was capable to defeat that great grandmaster. And this was a turning point, and in especially 2026 many companies were working on in AI research areas. And first time Google declared the of self-driven car in 2009, and they first time launched this service in some city in California. And other companies like IBM and big tech giants also take some star of advantage of this technology. And so in 2011 IBM Watson was capable to gives great example of using so that time there was a television game show Joe Perdy, and it was capable to beat the human champion of this television game. So, and then Watson was capable to understand natural language, just like asking any question in plain English and it can answer. So that was the example of how AI can answer a plain English question just like a human. And Google has a different team that time in 2016, when Google DeepMind was aggressively working on AI as a full-fledged AI research team, and their goal was to develop a which is just like the Deep Blue of IBM, and they were targeting one specific and that game was very popular in Korea. So they started to build a deep learning machine. Basically it was capable to play with a human player, and they also beat the world champion at that time. So after that, if we look at the recent history of AI, after the AlphaGo of DeepMind, there was actually different kind of transformer architectures were built by different companies that were some example of large language models. And nowadays this number of large language model is tremendously increased, especially China. They have a lot of open source large language model, and most of the US large language model are closed source. Especially OpenAI's ChatGPT start the revolution, and the race began. Multiple companies are building their own AI model, and they are releasing it in the open source space. So for example, in 2025 even some companies like DeepSeek and Alibaba, they were building very fantastic AI, and these are free, of course. You can use them through their website. So these open source technologies, closed source technologies, these are two different ways of using AI. So here, if we want to summarize the key takeaways from this conversation about the history of AI, so then we understand that the artificial intelligence terms was coined by John McCarthy during 1956 in a conference. And then the earlier stage of before that, Alan Turing used AI in solving some problem that was related to encryption. So basically AI was capable to decrypt the message. And then especially in 2022 when ChatGPT was launched, AI most popularity. So in 1950, computing machine essentially functioning for large scale calculation. Even organizations like NASA use some of these techniques to solve various type of problem. And the big contribution was done by John McCarthy and Alan Turing, and later other statisticians and scientists contribute a lot in this technology for making AI more stronger, but the process is in progress. There is another scientist whose name is whose name. There are many other scientists, but especially mighty scientist Joseph. He developed a chatbot, and that chatbot may be the earlier example of ChatGPT. Name was Eliza. Even the iPhone Siri was like a AI chatbot before ChatGPT. So especially there are many other examples of AI chatbots. Those were not popular, and most important thing was the computing power. Especially OpenAI invested a lot in the data center. So basically, when you are asking any question, it consumes an energy to the data center, and it is preparing answer from various sources that include various creative work of writers, various information sources. So it is also a question, like if AI is using without permission many internet sources, open source sources, as a source of their information and not contributing them as a revenue is very high, and any part of this revenue is not going to the creator. That is a question that is coined by many activities nowadays. And we see a tremendous growth of AI between 2000 and especially 2020 22. So IBM Versa, Alexa, Gemini, you get a lot of example of AI. And at present, even you can run an AI model on your computer if your computer has enough GPU and processing unit. You can run a local GPT model, and that is how actually we see the use of AI is increasing around the world. So I hope from this conversation we have learned the history of AI and how it is going to eliminate the entry level job. That is the question, and we are going to discuss this in detail in the next episode, where we will see what are the skill set that we need to acquire to be relevant in this race. And we'll look at different type of data around us, and definitely that will be helpful for us to understand the future of AI. Thank you. See you guys in the next episode.